Welcome to the Community Talk, where we connect, share stories, and dive into the latest freelancing buzz together. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second Community Talk. It's my pleasure to welcome Jessica and Sudhir. We'll start by highlighting one of the new processes that we started implementing last week. And thanks to Jessica and her feedback, we have started posting weekly Share Your Wins type of thread.
Yeah.
And I can see the community really loves it. And I'd like to again show how the community really impacts the journey of the Freelancer Forum. So thank you, Jessica. And please do share how you got that inspiration for sharing your weekly wins. Where does that motivation come from?
I got it from another group on Facebook. So I like to have like multiple streams of income coming in, and so I also make digital printable educational resources. And so there's a lady who has a group on Facebook, and she kind of teaches people how to run the stores on something called Teachers Pay Teachers, how to use PowerPoint and how to use Canva, and she has that in her group. And it's always so fun. I love like reading everyone's wins, and like they're all so varied and everyone's just cheering each other's on. So it's just like it's so good to see everybody winning, and it's on so many different levels, right? It can be something like I made $1 or something like grander, and like we're all in support of each other, and it's just really cool to see.
I think that thread gave you an opportunity for all the forum members, all the community members, to share their business and non-business related wins, which I really love. I love having, I think, Petra picking up maybe oranges, or maybe that was another thread, but I did see like Morgan sharing his wins, and I really like that because I think that's the point of having the active community. And this is again another opportunity to show my appreciation to all the community members who are posting for their really professional and kind tone. I really like where our freelance forum community is going with the overall tone, with the overall demeanor, and the type of responses which are being shared actively in the community. The activity is picking up, so for anybody listening in, this is the time to connect with expert freelancers who are part of our forum and just have fun, get quality information from experienced freelancers and business owners. Sudhir, would you like to share your impression of the forum and how you see the forum panning out in the next couple of months?
Sure, Vlad. So, for me, this is a place, basically as a freelancer, we are all silos, right? I worked for like almost 20 years. So I'm kind of used to have people around, right? Where you can like go to cafe, have coffee, have chit chat. And then when I decided to switch into full-time freelancer, I was kind of feeling isolated. Anyways, because of all this COVID and all, we were all isolated, right? But I still had, teams where I had like hundreds of people to talk to. And then when I switched to my own like freelance journey, I was kind of feeling isolated because my teams had just me and my wife. So, how much I can talk to her, right? I can talk to her directly. So that's when I bumped into Upwork community, and it kind of gave me a feeling of sense of belonging. Like I'm not alone. I have a lot of people. That's where I got involved more in the Upwork community. And then, you kind of get interesting replies from people like Jessica, and then we had Sam and, Petra. So you kind of build a good group for discussion. So anytime you're like, okay, I need some inspiration, you just go to community. And then one fine day, you message me that Upwork community is going down. And then I was looking for options, and you gave me this option, freelance forum. So you see how it grew within a very short span of time, because I was not the only one feeling like lack of connect, right? Everybody else around the world were like, okay, I mean, what do we do if Upwork community is not there? That's where we jumped into freelance forum, and now it's picking up really well. I mean, Vlad, thanks to you, the kind of like initially it was all empty, right? I mean, we had just few members, and then it grew like anything. And now, every time you jump into, anytime I want to take a break from my work, I get into this community and I have, very interesting thread. Like that's what happened today as well, right? So I see where we are. Like 4 hours ago, I had no idea, I'll be talking to you guys, like you awesome people. And now, so that's the power of community. And that's when we, get to share like our experiences, good, bad, ugly, So I just take it like, we're sitting at a table having coffee and then chit chat. So it gives me a very good feeling of, being connected to the rest of the world. So thank you, Vlad, for this is going awesome. Frankly speaking, even for a new freelancer and even for somebody like me, right? I'm not very new and I'm not very old on the freelance journey, but this always helps you with new policy, because some or the other people are checking what is going on in Upwork, right? So if you are busy, somebody else will post something like, okay, Upwork has raised the price or lowered the price or whatever. So it's a good way to catch up with the world and then know what is happening in the freelance world. So awesome. I think I'll keep it short. Did that answer, or was that
Yes,
interesting?
yes. Thank you, Sudhir. I just want to follow up and say this is a team effort, and all the flair that the community gets, it's getting it from all the members like you and Jessica and Petra and Jennifer and Mark and Ravi and all the others. So it's definitely not a one-person type of thing to succeed. I love the way you kind of phrased it. This is like sitting down and having a coffee and having a chit chat. That the community should be about that. You are currently based in India, right?
Right, that's right. In
Okay,
India.
so it's really interesting that you and Jessica are currently based on the same continent. So Jessica, as a digital nomad, would you like to share where you are now, where you're going, and maybe a little bit about your previous freelancing journeys around the world?
Sure. This is really like the first time that I'm traveling, and it's been a few years. I feel like it took me a few years to get my feet under me, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm not getting any younger, and so like I should travel. And so I started at my parents' house, like in the Philadelphia area, and then I went to London for like a week, and then I was hunkered down in Budapest for about a month, and then I went to Sofia for about a month, and I do it slowly like that because there are days like where I have to stay and I have to work, right? Like this stuff isn't free. So like I need to make sure that I'm still delivering to my clients, still attending meetings, so it's not all like games and everything like that. So I do stay inside, hunker down for a few days a week, and then I can go out and enjoy myself. And I'm there for the whole month, so there's no rush. So I went to Budapest, I went to Sofia in Bulgaria, which is a great region of the world, and then I got to see Vlad in Serbia, so that was really cool. A quick bus ride, it was really cool. And then I flew over here to Vietnam. I've been here for about 10 days, and I'm about to go to South Korea. And I lived there. I lived in South Korea for like 6 years total, in a different life, I suppose. But back in the day, I lived there for like 6 years as a teacher. And now I feel so grateful I get to go back with a different lens. Like I was in my early 20s, and I feel like I was kind of like a lost kid at that age. And now I get to go back with this fresh take, and I feel very empowered with the success that I've seen with freelancing. So I get to go back, I'm my own boss, I have great clients, and see it through a new lens that isn't dependent upon the job that I had while I was working in South Korea. So to go back as a very empowered, more confident and sure in herself woman. So I get to go do that tonight. I'm going to South Korea for the month. Yes. So I'm going all the way around, so why not? Life is short.
Yeah, life is short.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm really happy we had an opportunity to sit down and speak in person, which is really awesome. And looking at all of your travels, I do feel that we should all be, if not, if we are unable to do the travels ourselves, then kind of tap into your journey and journey of similar freelancers who are kind of touring the world, because there's so much great cultural experiences, fun experiences that you came across that you even mentioned. Could you please remind me of the term you mentioned, which is related to digital nomading, but it's a little bit different? Can you please remind me?
Sure, it's called slowmadding. So there's like digital nomading, but it's slow mad, like nomad, but slow mad. So you go through slowly, and yeah, you take your time. And again, like I do that because my clients are number one to me. So I want to make sure that like I deliver the work, I have enough time to focus, and then I can go have some fun, like 2 or 3 days a week maybe. But yeah, it's called slow matting. And also, yeah, I'm 37, so it's a lot on the body. If you're changing locations every like 2 weeks, I think that's too much for me. I know that I don't want that, and I want to stay in like tip-top shape. So yeah, I can still make the deliverables to my clients, but yeah, it's slow matting. I don't know if it's take your time. There's no rush.
How do you actually structure your day? Well, not referring to today because I know you're traveling, but how do you actually structure a time that allows you to work and also explore the location where you're at?
Because I have so much time, I do just kind of do like blocks of 3 or 4 days where I just make sure I do that, and then maybe like I treat myself to go out and get lunch or get coffee, and like I'll do just like little breaks, so like an hour long walk, which you would normally do like in your hometown or wherever you live. So it's just a walk in the park, whatever. But like because I'm in locations that I've never been in before, I get to take that hour. Yeah, it's a balance.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the responses you posted on Joel's thread regarding his thread roast my profile. So I know he was looking for both good insight but also a more direct feedback, and I really love that not you nor Petra nor I'm not sure if anybody else followed up on the thread in the meantime shared any feedback in a more direct tone, which is why I really love this new community. But back over to you, Sudhir. Can you tell me, have you traveled the world a bit? Have you been to different locations freelancing as well?
Not on the freelancing, but I traveled as part of my day job earlier. Like I was in Houston. I was in US for 6 years, so I kind of explored the other part of the world. But that's about it. When it comes to travel, I'm really very limited. Even in India, I'm very limited. So I'm kind of stay home kind of person. So I'm right now located in Pune, which is very nice city. Like you have hills and everything. So, but as far as travel is like I'm very limited. So at the most, I'll like this weekend I'll be traveling to Mumbai for a marathon. So that's about it. So I do run. That's what takes me wherever run takes me, right? So that's where I travel.
That's not too shabby, I have to say. So don't sell yourself short. That's a great destination. One of the things I identify with you is a really awesome response you shared to my question in one of the previous podcasts we had in the former upper community about whether your location is impacting your chances to get hired or not. And your first response was, my location is actually benefiting my chances of getting hired, because being located in India and that part of the world, seeing that most of our clients are from the States, you can complete tasks and even sometimes the whole project while the client is sleeping. So when they wake up, they have everything ready, which is really, really awesome, and which is type of the inspirational approach that I see a lot of freelancers lacking. So yeah, would you like to share and follow up on that with any additional information that, I don't know, maybe some freelancers from India and Pakistan aren't possibly aware of? Because usually when you say location, you think that if you're not located in the US, your chances of getting hired are lower. But I think both, like at least the two of us, are proof that that's not the case.
That's not the case, Vlad. And how it came from is I'm a very long timer when it comes to Upwork and right. So I started as a side hustle right back in 2010. So that's where I used to do my full-time day job, and then in the evening I used to work for my US based client. And then when I moved to Houston, US, it kind of got very difficult for me because all my client wanted me to work on the same time where I was doing my full time. Like it was day for me, right? So in US, like your day is kind of structured. Like you have to do this and the grocery and then whatnot. You have plenty of things to do. So I found it very difficult to freelance when I was in US, and then when I was back in India, when I decided to restart my freelance journey full time, I saw it is very benefited because see, India is located where I can overlap my time with US. I can overlap my time with UK. I can overlap my time with Australia as well. It will be a bit early, but you still get good part of the day where like their afternoon you can set up meeting. Sitting in India, I had the privilege to help client across the globe. So that's when I realized like what a good location I am in. Right now, I can structure my work so that when Australian clients are sleeping, I work for them. When US client is sleeping, that kind of opened up my eyes like, okay, yeah. So you have a typical meeting where you decide, okay, what you need to work on, and I am on my own and I can deliver the work, and that has been working great for me. Trust me, at any given point, even now, I'm serving clients from all three time zones of US, UK, and then one of my client is from Australia, and they all are happy. Their work is getting done, and that's I think three of the most, I would say, continents where the work gets generated, right? I mean, the most of the work gets generated, right? So if you can serve those clients, nothing like it, right?
Yeah.
And then you still get time for yourself. You can take out time. Like you don't have to like book for 24 hours. You can structure your days, and then you can have your personal time as well. So
Would you mind
Typically, that
sharing
is my
just
morning. I keep like till morning. I'm okay. Even if I start my day at 11, I still have a lot of hours to work with my Australian clients. So that works very well.
would you mind just sharing the primary service and category the service you offer on Upwork and your category on Upwork?
Sure. So I am mainly into IT and web development. So I build applications for my clients where if they have any paper-based processes, and then I give them app that work across platform. Your phones, your laptop, your tablet. And as a full-time employee, I used to do that only for one company, right, Halliburton. And then when I started my freelancing, I thought, why only big companies should have all this privilege, right? If I have the skill, I know how to build awesome app. I can serve the small and medium enterprises, and that was my all motive. Like I can bring the expertise that I've gained over the years and bring it to the clients who need it. Nowadays, setting up your IT infrastructure is very easy, right? It's not rocket science anymore. So that was my objective, and so far I've been very successful in helping my clients, and they are very really happy. So they're really happy with the way, because even if it is like I'm my own boss, I'm my own servant as well. So I make sure that I take full responsibility of the delivery, and then you give they are in Upwork, it's our responsibility to give them the kind of professional feeling, right? That okay, just because you are hiring from Upwork doesn't mean that you're working with somebody less professional, right? So that was my other objective, like so that we can have more clients, and then it works, right? It's all, both parties get benefited. If the freelancers are good, if the clients are good, and nothing like it, right? So
Yeah,
that's me.
yeah, yeah, I agree. And I can promise from my end that we'll definitely do an India specific event coming up soon, because I really loved the turnout and the conversation we had in the former upper community related to spotlighting you as one of the guest speakers, but also spotlighting all the freelancers from India who joined that conversation. Jessica, when it comes to your freelancing journey, I know you had a rather unusual start, and like the rest of us, you stumbled into freelancing, but your journey was really specific, and I can say I really share some of the trade related skills that you acquired along the way. But would you like just to share how you started freelancing?
Sure. So I moved back from Korea. It was after like a long time. So I made a transition back from South Korea to the United States. And when I got there, I didn't want to teach anymore. And so I was like, I should join the union. I should become a construction worker because it pays well. They have pensions, which are not common in the United States anymore. So I wanted to join the union, and I kept applying. There's only an X amount of union shops for plumbing in the state of Wisconsin. And so I kept applying and applying and applying, and I think they only hire certain people. And so I needed money. Like, money was running out. So like I was like, I'll do anything. So I got onto Rover, which is a dog walking app. So you walk dogs, you pick up their poop. And then I was cleaning commercial buildings. I was scrubbing toilets, just anything to get money, because I needed money to pay rent and have a roof over my head. And then I heard about like working online, and so I signed up for a different freelancing platform, and I also signed up for Upwork, and somebody approached me on the other platform and asked me if I could write about AI, and I was like, I can figure it out, I suppose. And then so I ended up on Upwork, and so that client, I had them for like 5 years, and the starting pay was not good. It was $5 an hour was the starting pay, and then it ended up I asked for a raise, I asked for more. And so I had them for just a few hours each week, and eventually I did get into the plumbers union, and that was not the best experience. It's difficult in Wisconsin; they're a little bit behind the times, and so it's difficult if you're a woman or if you're a person of color. And so that was just not a good time, but I kept on this client, and I got to the end of my rope. I got to the end of my rope, and then I quit plumbing, but I had this safety net of Upwork and this one client that I'd had for years with unlimited work, actually. And so I was able to like fall into that safety net of Upwork while I was figuring out what to do next. And I was devastated when I left plumbing, like devastated. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that, but I still had money coming in because of Upwork. And then I was just like, why don't I just get more clients? And so that's what I did, and I just started taking on more projects. I didn't 100% know what I wanted to do, or like what field, or like what type of writing I wanted to do, so I kept just taking on projects, seeing like, oh, do I like this? And I was like, maybe I don't like that, and just refining my craft and refining how to manage clients and everything like that. So I kind of, I fell into it, but it was also a safety net that really, really saved me, and now it's given me like a wonderful life where I'm in control. If you would have told me I would have been here 5 years ago, I never would have believed you. Like the concept of being your own boss is insane to me, and the freedom that I have, and I'm so grateful to be here.
You're one of the most positive and inspirational persons I know, along with Sudhir. Really, in your conversation and in your posts, they kind of exude all the positiveness and kind of focusing on the positives, even in less than positive situations. Is it because of your earlier experiences, or despite of them, that you kind of keep that upbeat demeanor about yourself? I'm asking this because I can see that that comes naturally to you, but to other freelancers, it's almost a skill they need to acquire in order to be more successful. So, how would you say that you view your previous experiences and how they impacted and what role they played into making you the person that you are now?
Sure. I'd say like the without the bitter, the sweet and is sweet, right? So I went through like a really bitter, difficult time, and then you come out, and I'm just like, and I've had some clients where I've just been like, thank you for being so professional and communicating with me, and they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I was so used to such a lack of professionalism that I'm just like, thanks for not yelling at me, or and so they're like, what are you talking about? And so yeah, without the bitter, the sweet and is sweet, and I guess you can get bitter or you can get better, so you just have to, I don't know, have an optimistic viewpoint. And I find that has a snowball effect, right? And yes, yeah, right? And so like it gives off like your energy and your vibration, and just more good stuff keeps coming. So I see the pattern with that. So I'm like, I'm gonna just keep this going. And even if life does throw you curveballs, or like something doesn't go exactly as planned, I think with freelancing, I have the space to be like, okie dokie, what did we learn from this? And then I usually like to trace my steps back and say, I'm feeling a little bit yucky, I'm not feeling the best, I'm not 100% pleased with the outcome of this. So I retrace my step, I take responsibility for my own stuff, and I ask myself, what can I learn from this? How can I avoid this in the future? How can I get better? Because at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own happiness and our own lives. So yes, yeah.
What would be your advice to freelancers who have gone through either a similar experience like you, or are currently having certain contract issues, client issues, not being able to find additional contracts, their proposals are not getting viewed, they're not receiving offers or invites from prospective clients? What would be your advice for those freelancers?
It's all a big experiment, and we're in more. Are you talking to me?
Yep.
It's all a big experiment.
And then I'll give my experience. So, Jessica, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's all a big experiment. So yeah, if you have a client contract that goes wrong, again, like, ooh, that way didn't go right. The next time I can try it this way. And if like clients aren't responding, if your proposals aren't getting open, do some A/B testing. All of life is A/B testing. If something does work, it's keep going with it. But if something isn't working, you have to tweak it, and you're in control to make those little changes to make a major overhaul. It's a big science experiment, within reason, right? So, but you're more in control than you realize, and you have to take responsibility. So how can I get better? How can I learn? Come to these forums, watch YouTube videos, give something a go, give it a try. But it's all a big experiment. But you have to take control, especially in the freelancing industry. Nobody's going to hold your hand through it. Like, if you want something, go get it. You have to figure it out. Yeah.
And Vlad, for me, even I was in that situation, right, where you are submitting. Like, what happens is we submit the proposal with expectations. We think that we are the only one submitting the proposal. I think if you cut down on this expectation part, everything is positive. So if you're looking for a job, your primary job is to submit proposals, right? And then you have to change your strategies. Like, you cannot continue to submit the same proposal and expect that someday, some client will hit, and then if it is not working, just see, like Jessica said, right? You have to continuously improve. So that's when, Upwork community helped me. What I used to do is I had my own story that I'm a superhero, and then after so many years of experience, I used to copy paste and then submit it. Then one day I came to Upwork community, and then I think I read a post from a guy called Evans, right? So I went into his YouTube channel, and then he has some great strategies. And that's when it was like a wow moment for me. Okay, this is what I'm doing wrong. I'm thinking that, client will just look at my photo and then he'll click on my proposals and then he'll be like, okay, Sudhir, you are the superstar. I have to change my strategy. And that's what I did. I changed my profile. I made it about the client and about the services, about the benefit that they get, rather than about me, that, whatever I've done in the past, right? I've done in for my job and all that. So that really doesn't matter. What client is looking for is, okay, how can I solve their problem? So I always go with that mentality. And then, like Jessica said, you have to improve, right? Like one thing that is, if you don't change with the time, you'll get outdated, right? That's what happened with a lot of companies. So, so we are the individual, we are the brand, right? You're your own brand as a freelancer. So you have to keep evolving with the market. And then just because you don't have a job doesn't mean that you sit quietly and watch Netflix and then kind of hope that one day client. I mean, use that time. Like there were, even in the past year, right? I had weeks where I didn't make any money, but in those weeks I made sure that I'm learning something new, because technology is still evolving, right? So as a freelancer, you have to sharpen your skills, right? So use your time. You have to use your time. Just because somebody's not paying for your hours doesn't mean that you don't invest that hours on yourself. So that's my strategy always. So always keep evolving, always see what is going on in the market. If you apply to any job and then you didn't get hired, but somebody else did, right? So why don't you just go there and check what he's doing that you're not doing? Or just find out the most successful freelancer in your area and see how their profile looks and what they're doing. Because if somebody else can make money here, I can also make money, right? I can be successful, right? So I just have to find out what is missing in my profile and what is missing in my proposal. So now, each of my proposal, I draft it carefully. I don't submit a lot of proposals, but the ones that I submit is of top quality. Like I should be able to hire myself reading that proposal. That's always my strategy. And then I do have a client account, so I do that as well. So mostly when I'm hiring on Upwork, I see two things I see. If I can help somebody to get his career started. Second thing, if he's really serious about the job, he's not copy pasting it. So I mean, same thing I see it. So I think we had a good session on the Upwork India community earlier, right? Where we had the strategies on. I think we can start that here as well. Most of the freelancers, they think that they are the only one in the market, but this market is fully crowded, and then you have to stand out.
I have a personal question. Before freelancing, did you do any work or not necessarily work? Has any of your pre-freelancing experiences impact your choices when it comes to the services that you are currently offering in freelancing? Have you had to reskill or upskill or anything to that effect?
So Vlad, see, this is how IT industry work, right? Like initially you are learning a lot of things, you are very usable, and then in India, you have to do the management. So you kind of lose your skills, right? You are managing people, which is not going to help you in your freelance career. So definitely when I started here, I was technically very good. When I started my career back when I started my job, and then as I got the managerial positions, I was more into managing the people than the managing technology. So when I kind of pulled off the plug from my day job and then into freelancing, I was like a guy with no knowledge. I failed miserably in the interviews. So that's when I decided, okay, no, I have a lot to catch back on, because the world has already moved and I was just doing the managing people and making sure that they are working and all that. Definitely I had to, like I told you, right, there were weeks where I was not making any money. So those are the weeks where I was like, okay, let's learn something. So everything that I'm doing right now in Upwork, I've learned in last 2 years. So like definitely my job experience helps me with maybe dealing with client or staying calm and all that. But that's about it. All the technical work that I'm doing, the way I'm managing my project, it's all I learned in past 2 years. Like 2022 is when I started. This is about I think 3 years, when I was just sitting in my dining table and I thought, okay, let's restart our Upwork rather than joining any other company. I had a choice of joining any other company and then doing the same old stuff. But then I thought, I have to do something different. I mean, like Jessica said, right, one life. So why I don't want to have any regrets later on. So that's when I thought, like, I'll do something else. At the most I'll make less money, but I'll be helping somebody, or I will have no regrets that I didn't try, right? So that's when like I have an interest. And about your other question on how to stay positive, right? I think I missed on that. So, see, the whole world right now is trying to sell you negative news. Like, if you look for negative news, you'll find it everywhere. Your social media, your TV, your newspaper, and people get attracted to the bad news for some reason. So that's where I thought, why not be something different? So I see a lot of negative posts. I either when I'm contributing, either I don't contribute to them, or when I'm contributing, I just make sure that at least I uplift somebody's mood. Right? If somebody's talking to me, they should feel happy. That's my like number one goal. Forget about all the money and Upwork and everything. If a client is even talking to me, you're the first like few of the clients mentioned, Sudhir, why are you smiling or why are you so happy? So I don't know why this is like so rare nowadays. I mean, see, that's the best. Smile is the best language, right? I mean, if you start your interviews with smile, it kind of gives a comfort, right, to the client as well. Okay, this guy is kind of relaxed, and it relaxes you as well. No much how tensed you are or what is going inside you, you just smile and everything just disappears. So that's where I mostly try to stay positive. I've never posted anything negative. I just stay away from news and everything, because that just screws up your mind. That's where I feel that spread positivity. Rest of the world is spreading negativity, right? You just open up newspaper, open up anything, your Instagram feed, everything is full of negativity. So that's my
Okay.
approach here.
That's definitely a perfect take. Jessica, are there any specific locations that you would recommend to existing or potential digital nomads to visit, to freelance from, to explore?
I loved Sofia. I thought Sofia was a really cool jumping off point. And again, so like I took the bus to Thessaloniki in Greece, and then I took a bus to Serbia. And so it's a cool city. It's very easy to get around. So much history, and yeah, I felt so safe. It was a little bit cold, but like Sofia was a really cool city. I think it's very underrated, and yeah, Sofia's been great.
You also visited North Macedonia, right?
Well, yes,
you
I
visited
did.
Skopje? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I can say that you did within those within that short time frame more travel than a lot of us that actually live in the region. So I really love that. Are there any specific requirements you're looking for or planning for when you're traveling, or do you just need a laptop and you can freelance from anywhere?
I think for this trip, I've traveled in Western Europe before, and I think it's a little bit expensive, and I think it's a little bit dangerous, and I think the people are kind of grumpy. No offense to anyone, but I've spent time in Western Europe, and I'm like, I've done the Italy thing, I've done the Spain thing. Spain's kind of famous for like pickpocketing, so I'm like, I'm gonna check out East, and so like Eastern Europe it's usually a lot more affordable. And again, I think it's really underrated. I felt so safe, but yeah, safety, affordability, those are. And yeah, good internet connection. Those are the best. I like large cities, so I can use it as like a bouncing off point. So that's what I prefer. But maybe later in my freelance journey, maybe I'll want some like seclusion. I don't like seclusion. I like cities. I like to be like near a convenience store at all times. It's convenient. Yeah, safety, affordability, good internet. Yeah, that's all I want.
You're
And a
welcome to Pune,
7-Eleven.
Jessica. If you want to travel to India, you're welcome to Pune. Nice, like number one weather in India. So
Yes. Next time around.
No, we should definitely start talking about online and on-site huddles and start doing that as part of our new community. We have, as you know, Jessica started talking about a regional meetup, and I know Alexander from Cyprus is really interested, and he's actually visiting. He's in Belgrade currently, but I do like all the hustle and bustle, and since we kind of transitioned over to the Freelancer Forum, I've been more aware about the locations and all the travels and all the dynamics of all the forum members, which I really like. Jessica, your story and your journey, especially taking the skill-wise and location-wise, is really similar, I would say, to Petra's. And I would definitely love having you and Petra on a podcast talking about your travels and your experiences, because I can see there are a lot of similarities there. If you need to jump off, please do let me know, because I do want to honor your time, and I really appreciate you sitting down with us, even though you're about to board a plane.
Sure, yes, I will hop off, but thank you so much for inviting me in the studio. It was so nice to meet you. I love to hear your story as well, and I'm so excited to see what this
Likewise,
community
Jessica.
turns into. And again, like I love the positivity. It's a place for positivity, lifting each other up, and we're stronger together. So.
Likewise, Jessica. It was so nice to, interact with you, and I felt, very good. And safe travels. And you're welcome to India, Pune anytime, you want to come.
Have a great trip, and please keep us updated about your travels.
Yep.
So, Sudhir, let's change our pace. Let's talk about freelancing specifically. Do you have a story that sticks out of you, or all experiences and relationships with your client that you feel you would like to share, that you feel would be impactful and sort of a learning experience for all the freelancers that might be listening in and
Uh,
watching this
sure.
podcast?
So when it comes to freelancing, right, most of us are judging a job by dollar amount, right? How much, like a big project or dollar. But freelancing is more about how you can generate repeat business. It's not about the dollars. It's about, how you can. It's a game of getting a good rating. That's it. No matter how big is the job. Like if you get a 5 star from a $20 job, right? That will result in giving you 20,000 worth of work in future. So it's about how you build your profile. It's not a shortcut that you work on one project, you make money, and then you kind of disappear. You have to think long term, right? Everything that you're doing now, it may not give you results immediately, but it will surely give you results later on. So all the success or all the opportunities that I'm getting right now, it's not because I worked well today. It's because when I started 2 years back, when I had nothing, I made my presence felt through community or through all my past work. That's what client sees, right? So just like I said, right, like this freelancing is a different ball game altogether. When you are in 9 to 5 job, your primary agenda is to just go through the day, whatever happens. Just pass the day, end of the month, you're getting a good pay, and then you're happy. But when it comes to freelancing, every day you have to put your best foot forward. Like, any day could be a bad day, it could be a good day, but you have to keep quiet here, in this 2 inches. Your mind should be like calm, and then you have to always believe that whatever work you're doing right now is going to give you results in next 6 months, next 1 year, next 2 years. That's the mentality you have to go with. You're building a brand. You're not making money. You're making a brand. So that's the mindset you have to go with when you're freelancing.
Okay. You mentioned the power of your proposal and the work you put into submitting your proposal. Would you like to share your proposal success rate, like for the last, let's say, couple of months or 6 months?
So for me, like I don't have the exact numbers because lately I have not been submitting a lot of proposals. But every time submit, at least lately when I changed my strategy, the profile view rate was anything above 50, like 50-60% of my proposals were at least viewed, and then out of those viewed, at least I'll get hired in 10% of the time. So if I submit 100, like I earlier I used to submit 100 proposals. Lately I've been just very like picky on where I want to invest my connects, right? So I pick that very carefully, and then I draft my proposals, and that's where I see the more profile clicks and the more profile views and my proposal views. So lately every proposal that I submit, at least it will get viewed, is what I've seen after changing them, and thanks to Evans, right, on that. So earlier it was like I'll submit 100 proposals and probably 2 or 3 will get viewed or at least get actioned. And lately, what I've seen, Vlad, is the more work you keep, the more busy you get, right? The more invites you get. So if you don't have time to invest for a new client, that's when you get the most of the invites. You'll get like, oh, please work on my project and all that. That changes. Like in freelancing, you have seasons. So right now we are in a season where everybody needs to get their job done, correct? And then there'll be season where things are like will be slowing down. So but yeah, I've seen after changing my strategy, I've seen a definite hike in the percent of proposals that gets viewed.
We actually started a new thread in the Freelancer forum about the most impactful proposal tips and how to actually build a winning proposal and create a winning proposal. So, do you have any advice from your end about crafting such proposals? What
So
would those proposals entail primarily?
okay, so here is my way of tackling any proposal. First, I go through the job description at least 2 times, at least twice. So I have, like, if there are job description is very vague, right, I don't apply there. So I mean, the client who knows about their problem, they'll mention it on top. First 4 lines they'll mention it. So my proposal usually start with, I put myself in the client's shoes and see, what kind of problems he is having. And then I don't start with typically, hello, I am this and that. It's not about me. Most of the freelancers know this, but my proposal is always about the client. What is their problem? If I can solve their problem in my first 2 lines, I would do there. Literally, there were clients who were asking for some basic thing. And my proposal started with, you don't need to hire anybody. You can do this, by going this here, and here's a YouTube link. So if I can help my client with my proposal, I do that. So your first paragraph, first 2 lines should be about either you are giving solution to your client or how you think it should be solved. And there are times where, even client is not aware that, there are ways of, because they are not that, they are expert in their business, but they're not expert in what you do, right? That's where they are reaching out to the freelancers, right? So I typically, either give them solution or give them alternate or tell them that, okay, this is what you're thinking, but I think, this is a better way of doing it. So that is what is in my first few lines of my proposal. I do a little bit more research about the clients, if they have given, like what kind of feedback they have given. Somehow I can know their names. If somehow I know their full names, I do a research on LinkedIn and go, what kind of business they do and what kind of, that gives you a more idea. Yeah? You have to know your client, right? You have to know your client before you decide to work for them. So I do my due diligence. I know my client and then I know their problems. And then I start my proposal with how do I solve my problem, solve their problem. If there are anything I have done before, on the similar nature, like if any of my project is of similar nature and then that could help them, I use that. And then last few lines, I talk about myself and how I fit, why he should hire me, right? So I keep it very short. I don't make it about myself, right? And then I end my proposal with some action item, call to action, right? Where, okay, let's meet. Or if I have I have some open, my schedule is open on Wednesday. I help them with my Calendly link. I also tell them that, I won't mind giving them free consultation. If there's something I can solve them for in 30 minutes, right? I give them free consultation. I don't make money there. So if I can get, if somebody can just get, because most of the client, I have few clients who really didn't knew about it, but it could have been, solved like without investing any money. So I have helped those clients as well. Like one of the client, I told them, you don't need to hire anybody. This is the things you can do, and then you strategize later on that. So always put client first is my number one rule while writing a proposal. And then you have to make it as personal as possible. Like I won't start with hi, hello. I'll start with Vlad. Hi Vlad. I know you're struggling with this. Like try to touch on their pain points, right? Or basically solve their problems.
Do you use AI tools to help you draft your proposals?
For the most, I mean, just for the spell correct and all, but I don't use AI tool because it is, very, it sounds very robotic. So
In person.
I mean, it has to have a human touch. Right now, if you have to stand out, everybody else is submitting proposals using AI. So, my strategy is always do what nobody else is doing, or, if people are following, different directions, you just stay apart. So that's everybody is now using AI, so I stay away from AI. My proposal is my craft, right? So I draft, like even if it is not 100% correct, it is at least human, right? Like it has to have a human language and it has to have a personal touch. So I don't use AI for crafting my proposals. That's the number one way of getting rejected. If you're lazy to draft your own proposal, how good you will be in solving the client's problem. Yeah, there are some areas where AI could be very useful. So the most I use AI, right, is if a client has given me a project, I will try to extract the action item out of it. That's to the extent I use AI or ChatGPT for, like, give me the key action items, and I'll still read those action items and craft my proposal based on that. But it will be all, coming from my brain, and I'll type it out. I don't copy paste anywhere. So even if it is the same thing I'm repeating about myself, but I don't copy paste.
Okay. Back to the topic of the forum community. Do you have so far a favorite thread you'd like to call out, or a favorite member, or a favorite comic book image that Ravi is sharing in the water cooler?
So see, I think few of the favorite people I already met Jessica, right? I really wanted to, I really fascinated by her story, going through all the struggles and then, kind of construction. So you already, thanks for giving me opportunity. I really wanted to meet her. So Jessica, Petra is very good in her replies, so I like her replies as well. Lately, I've been very lazy on getting onto this because of my work and all that, but I really like the thread that we just started, right? What is good about the, what is share something good about the week. That is very
Yeah.
interesting. Anytime you post about any community events, that's what I look forward to. Really, because you might have figured out, right? I like to talk. So I really look for that opportunity. So those are some of my good. Even the initial thread we started, when the community was very fresh, right, where there were no thread. So you started like initial thread. That was also good. So that's where I like those threads. So this is coming really good, Vlad. I mean, let me tell you, the moment you hopped into this platform, right? I mean, you are just making it awesome. And then one thing we should start doing, Vlad, is if somehow we can get the count of members and all that. And that will be a good feature to include.
Yeah, I can tell you that immediately. Give me just 1 second. We're a small community, but we are really high quality, I feel.
We are growing.
We are currently at 160 members.
So that's a good number. And then, this will kind of multiply, right? As people are posting more discussion. I see a lot of interesting discussion that is going on. We should, probably put a country-wise graph and all that, to make it a little kind of a gamify this so that more and more people join in and then, they encourage people to join in. So this will grow big, like even in like most I posted it on India community. I don't know if people hopped into this, but this will grow definitely because this is a very good platform to know about it, right? What things you can improve on, what is going on in Upwork, and then meet some interesting people. So I really love it. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I love your enthusiasm. Okay, so thank you for agreeing to speak with us today and be part of the community talk sessions. I hope we get a chance to record a podcast together, and also I hope I'll be seeing you in future community talk sessions just to share what we posted in the Freelancer forum. We scheduled next week's session at a different time frame because we would like to
cover.
facilitate
Yeah.
and do what we can to reach out to as many members as possible and adjust our time frame so it actually works with all the members who are dispersed around the globe.
Definitely.
So yeah, I hope we'll start getting more audience members, more questions, making it more kind of fun engagement. But I'm really happy at how the community talk has started and taken off. When it comes to those weekly wins, I have to say that my highlight is creating the YouTube account for the Freelancer forum and posting that first community talk with Petra and Jennifer. And hopefully we'll continue building on that.